Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today on the Divine Messages podcast. My name is Karina, and I am a psychic medium out of Calgary, Alberta. Today's episode is all about red flags. I did an episode a while back about warning signs from our angels, but today I've been guided to do a full episode on red flags. I recently posted a quote on my social media that says, "Never trust a person who has let you down more than 2 times. Once was a warning, twice was a lesson, and anything more than that is simply taking advantage." We all get those red flags and warning signs, but we have all chosen to ignore them from time to time. It's not necessarily that we are being naive to them, it's more that we try to see the best in someone, and we choose to look past those warnings. Even as a psychic and having a very close relationship with my guides, I have ignored those red flags too many times because I truly do want to see the best in others. But boy, have I ever been burned and later regretted it. And the quote by Maya Angelou that says, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." This quote always comes to mind whenever I'm presented with a warning or red flag about someone. Last year, I was given very specific gut feelings about someone, and those feelings came to me through my physical sensations like a very sick feeling in my stomach. Also, little whispers in my ear for my guides to be guarded, but also just a very clear knowing that they were not to be trusted. I had all the signs right there in front of my face, and I chose to ignore them. And after I was burned, I sat back and replayed the whole situation, and I was frustrated with myself for not listening. I do understand that all of it happened as a major lesson for me, but it was hard not to be disappointed in myself for not listening because I always teach everyone about intuition and trusting our gut feelings. And here I was, going against divine guidance. What a lesson that was, and I now tell my guides I will try even harder to not ignore those warnings. So when you all look back on your lives, how many of you can say that all of the red flags were there and you also chose to ignore them? I'm sure each and every single one of you can relate. Over the last few weeks, I have done a lot of readings with people about relationships. So many of them had said that they were really questioning if the person that they were with was the right one. And although I try not to tell any client what to do, I do, however, let them know that if they are questioning it, they need to start paying attention to any red flags. The right person, your person, you will never, ever question. Sometimes the sparkle of a new relationship can blind us to those red flags. And that doesn't mean a romantic relationship. It can be with a new friend or coworker as well. Some bad habits or personality quirks can be changed and overlooked over time, but there are some major red flags that should not be ignored. They are the ones that make us feel very uneasy and uncomfortable, and yet we sometimes want to deny that they exist. Let's go through a little checklist of the major red flags so that if you should encounter any with another, it may help you to stop and really pay attention and decide if that person is right for you. The person is quick to take their anger out at you. If someone projects their anger at you and you feel that you did nothing to warrant it, that is a major red flag. In a romantic relationship, anger and frustration can sometimes happen to release frustration and pain, and that can be normal if done in a safe manner. But what isn't normal is if a person is doing it frequently and as a way to control and instill fear. If there are moments of fear within a partnership, such as that feeling of walking on eggshells around them, that is not healthy. If you are constantly worried that you will upset your partner, that is also a red flag to look out for. In a healthy relationship, both parties should feel safe to express and communicate their emotions without fear of any repercussions. In a friendship, business, or coworker relationship, remember that if someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. If they express anger towards you for no apparent reason, ask yourself what you will and won't allow. Do you want to continue on with that relationship, or is it time to move on? Does it mean that you cut them out completely, or do you continue but with a guard up? Listen to your intuition, that gut feeling. It is never wrong, and you will know what to do. The person lies excessively or is very secretive. You cannot have a healthy relationship without honesty. If you would like to have a very strong partnership, honesty is non-negotiable. If someone keeps certain important aspects of their life hidden from you, that is a major red flag. A partnership is sharing your lives together, and sure, there are many small things that an individual may keep to themselves, because that's normal. but there is a huge difference between being private and being secretive. If they are unwilling to share details about their daily activities or their whereabouts, this could indicate a bigger problem. How can you possibly build a trustworthy relationship if there is information being withheld? Your partner or friend shows signs of extreme possessive behavior. Yes, even a friend can be overly possessive over you, and I will explain a little bit more in a moment, but for now, let's talk about the behavior in a partner. It's normal and healthy to inquire how your partner's day has been, asking such things as, "How was your day?" or "Where did you go for lunch?" But if the questions seem much more possessive or intrusive, like, "Who were you with?" "What time did you go to the restaurant?" and "What time did you leave?" or they go through your phone and text. They could even go as far as showing up where you are unannounced. These are all major red flags to be aware of. Sometimes it can be that they become so possessive because in actuality, they may just be the ones that are up to no good. Now let's go back to the friends being possessive. I actually had a friend growing up that never wanted me to hang out with other people. She would get angry or sulk when I wanted to spend time with anyone else. And I always felt guilty when I had to tell her that I had plans with my group of friends. And I can now look back and see how unhealthy that was. So it's not always a romantic partner that can become possessive. If your partner or friend never apologizes, the inability to say, "I'm sorry," is also a red flag. It's important to own up to our behaviors when we are in the wrong, and of course this isn't easy, but a good friend or partner will admit to their faults because they care about how you feel. A major red flag is when they try to make you feel that you are in the wrong, and they guilt you into making it seem as if you are the bad person. Sometimes we truly do want to see the best in others, and so we can ignore that gut feeling. It's not that we miss the red flags, but rather that we choose to not acknowledge them. The red flags are always there. Your angels and guides always try to make you aware that something just isn't right, but our job is to listen to that inner warning. Even when I look back on my life, I can now see all of the red flags that were given to me, and I went against my intuition. I chose to try to figure things out on my own, and do I wish that I would have done things differently? Heck yes, do I ever. But I can't go back in time to fix any of it. I can only learn from it all and try my best to truly listen to my gut feelings and intuition from now on. So I want to leave you all with this today. A red flag is truly a sign that something is off either with a person or a situation. It can be an indication of dishonesty, disrespect, substance abuse, lack of integrity, or a flirtatiousness with others. Part of us wants to find a million reasons to excuse a person's poor behavior. We don't actually want to admit that we let someone into our life that didn't have the best intentions for us. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with still wanting to see the best in others, but just be mindful of your boundaries. Those boundaries allow people to know what you will and won't accept. They teach others how to treat you. A boundary isn't there to keep people out. It is there to only allow in the people that are deserving of your love, time, and energy. So whether you are in a romantic partnership or even within a friendship, pay attention to those red flags. They are there for a reason, and they are your spirit guide's incredible guidance, the most crucial guidance that shouldn't be ignored. Thank you all so much for joining me today on the Divine Messages podcast. And my hope for you all is to always remember the incredible quote by Maya Angelou, "When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time." If you would like to book a reading with me, I can be reached at www.divinemessages.ca or on Facebook under Divine Messages or the Divine Messages Podcast, and on Instagram at Divine Messages 333 or at the Divine Messages Podcast. Please bear in mind that the perspectives and opinions represented in this podcast are based solely on the Divine Messages interpretations. We can in no way be held responsible for the actions of our followers.